Recording.
Boker Tov, everyone. In Chumash Bereshit, we find a number of people that the Torah speaks about that are, so to speak, peripheral characters to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but nevertheless occupy a very important role in the events that the Torah is describing. So last week, for instance, we had Lot, where the Torah went into great detail to describe how Lot survived and how the nations of Ammon and Moab began and became great powers. This week's Parsha, we have two peripheral characters, so to speak, that occupy much of the Parsha. The first one is Ephron, the Ephron Achiti, who owns the field where the Morat HaMachpelah is located, and with whom Avraham Avinu negotiates for the purchase of that plot of land. The Torah goes into a great deal of detail regarding Ephron. He is a very honored gentleman in the society of the Chiti that live in Eretz Israel. And he presents originally a very favorable view towards Avraham and towards his request for the place of burial. However, at the end of the story, Ephron turns out to be a hard-boiled businessman who wants to extract the last coin out of the transaction that he is involved in. So at the beginning, he says, it's my honor, take any place you want. At the end, he says it's 400 shekel. Now, 400 shekel then was an enormous amount of money. There are estimates that the average person earned less than 5 shekel a year. So 400 shekel for a grave is exorbitant. But Avram does not negotiate. Regarding the destruction of stone, Avram Avinu negotiates kaviyachol with God. Maybe 50, maybe 45, 40. Here he doesn't say a word. You want 400, here's 400. Now, I knew people who enjoyed negotiation. And because of that, they liked not only the result, but they liked the chase as well. I remember that when our synagogue in Miami Beach, we wanted to build a building, and we owned a small lot across the street. But we were in a storefront on the other side of the street. And there was a big supermarket on the corner that wanted to buy out all of the strip row stores in order to make a large parking lot. So they bought everybody out. We had a lease on one of the stores. So they had to buy us out too. So we were like the last ones that they negotiated with. So I remember that the leading entrepreneurs in the synagogue took me along for this negotiation with the supermarket's lawyers. And on the way there, so in the car, as people are wont to do, they started to negotiate with themselves. So they had an estimate that it was worth, the lease is worth $30,000, which then was money. So then they said to themselves, I'm sitting there, I'm the fly on the wall. He said, 30,000, let's ask for 40. Then another minute passed, and the other man said, no, we'll ask for 50. We come to the lawyer's office, and he's very gruff. And he says, you're the last ones on our list. We got to get it done. I have no time for this. What do you want? So one of my representatives blurts out, 75,000. The lawyer says, done. I thought they would die on the spot. There's nothing worse than having your offer accepted. So here, Avram Avinu, yeah, 400, 400, whatever you want. Because I want the bar someone favorite. Yet the Torah looks unfavorably at Ephron for behaving in this fashion. And therefore you will notice that Ephron until now was spelled Mole, Ayin Pei Resh Vav Nun. And afterwards the Vav fell away. It's Ayin Pei Resh Nun. So the Medrash tells us he lost the Vav because of the way he treated Avraham. Because of his outlandish generosity at the beginning and his inability to withstand the temptation of money at the end. So Ephron is a prototype. He's a real person, but he's a prototype of how people are. and that many times extracting the last coin out of a transaction is not a wise thing to do. But that's the nature of people. And the Torah always deals with nature. So therefore, that's why his story is important. Now, the main part of the Parsha devotes itself to another enigmatic character that we knew nothing about. Eleazar, Eved Avraham. Eleazar, the servant of Avraham. Now, Eleazar is more than just a servant. Avraham was said, Ben Meshek Beisi, Damesek Eleazar. The person that's in charge of my household, the one who signs the checks, the one who takes care of everything is Eleazar. So there is such a level of trust between Avram Avinu and Eleazar that Avram can say, I gave him over everything. Whatever you want, talk to him, not to me. That's what it means, Ben Meshek Basi. The whole budget of the house, everything, all my belongings. He has a power of attorney. He can do whatever he wants. So Avram Avinu evidently trusts Eliezer, and he trusts him implicitly. We don't find in the Torah how Avram came across Eliezer. We know that he was with Avram Avinu in the wars against the kings. But we don't know anything about him. This person that gained the trust of Avram Avinu, and to the extent that Avram now is going to send him on a mission to find a wife for Yitzchak. In other words, Avram entrusts him with his entire future. And the instructions to Eliezer are vague. He says, as long as she's not from the Canaanites, and she's somehow from our Semitic family, who have within their genes kindness and hospitality, and they go find a wife. He doesn't say tall or short, rich or poor. What Beis Yaakov did she go to? Nothing. Eliezer, you go find them. Who would do that? The amount of trust is enormous. In fact, Avram Avinu is saying to Eliezer, I entrust to you the entire future of the Jewish people. Because Yitzchak has to have a wife and he has to have children. And we need a woman that will be the proper mother of the Jewish people. So go find her. And I give you a blank check. Whatever it takes. 10 camels worth of gifts. Whatever it takes. So we do not find that level of trust in ordinary circumstances. And yet, we see that Avraham does not really trust him. Avraham tells to him, come, you have to take an oath. You have to swear that you will do what I say, that you will not take a Canaanite woman. Why does he have to take an oath? He trusts him. He gave him his checkbook. I mean, what do you want? No, no, you have to take an oath to me. Now, in the ancient world and in our world as well, an oath is a serious thing. Even in our somewhat perverted world, violating an oath can lead to criminal proceedings. So he says to Eleazar, swear to me by God that you will not take as a wife for Yitzchak someone of the daughters of the Canaanites, because their DNA will poison us. There's no kindness in it. And we are a people that are built upon kindness. So the question is, why doesn't he trust him? After everything that they've been through together, and after giving him all of the powers, and entrusting them with him with this mission, which itself is enormous. Somebody will give you a mission to find the proper mate for someone else. It's an enormous responsibility. And in spite of all of the trust, Avraham Avinu makes him take an oath that he will follow instructions, that he'll do what Avraham told him to do. So the Gemara, by the way, has a very high opinion of Eleazar. There's a medrash that Eleazar was like Eliyahu Hanavi. He never tasted the death. He went to heaven directly. And the Gemara says, Yofo Sichosan Shalav Deovos. The Torah repeats over and over again what Eleazar said. So we have a very, very, very high opinion of Eleazar. So the answer lies, Rashi alludes to it, quoting the Gemara, that at the end of the day, Eleazar had a personal interest in the matter. He had a prejudice. He had a daughter. In the back of his mind, maybe even subconsciously, he said, why does he have to go all the way to Choron and marry a stranger? We have a daughter here, my daughter, Eliezer's daughter. So, to a certain extent, Eleazar, even though he is loyal and trustworthy, he's conflicted, as all of us are. because the basic drive of a human being is for one's own benefit. I mean, the whole basis for a capitalistic free market society in economics is that no one can do economically for oneself more than the person himself. If you'll give it to government, they'll do, but it won't be as good as if you would have done it. Because self-interest is what drives everything in life. We're all interested in what we want. There are other considerations. So in life, we have to sublimate our self-interest to other interests, whether they're government, whether they're familial, or whether they're commercial, whether they're social. But the driving force is always one's own self-interest. And Avraham Avinu recognizes that. And he says, no matter how loyal Eleazar may be or has been, he has to take an oath because he has a self-interest. The vernacular today is that he has to have his own skin in the game. And he's got this daughter. So therefore, his self-interest will drive him to say, this one's not right, this one's too tall, this one's too short. He'll find reasons why she's not the one. And it's interesting that when Eleazar finally poses the question whether to take Rivka or not, he doesn't pose the question as to what she is not. He poses the question as to what she is. Is she kind? Is she hospitable? Does she have a true empathy for others? And therefore, Avraham Avinu, so to speak, doesn't trust Eleazar here. Because Eleazar is prejudiced, as any human being would be prejudiced. Eleazar has his own self-interest here. And in order to overcome that self-interest, in order to negate it as much as possible, so Avraham Avinu makes Eleazar take an oath. So that even though his self-interest may drive him differently, the power of the oath is so great that he will not violate it. And then I can trust him. The Gaon of Vilna says a very important lesson here in understanding the vocabulary of the Torah. The Gaon says, first of all, his rule is there are no synonyms in the Torah. Every word has a different nuance. That's why Hebrew is such a sparse language. Compared, let's say, the English has 10 times the amount of words. We see in modern Hebrew how much it has to have foreign words enter its vocabulary because we don't have that word in Hebrew. So in Hebrew, he says, there are two words that mean perhaps, maybe. One word is ulai, maybe, perhaps. And the other word is pen. And in Old English, we used to say it means lest it happen. So the Gaon says, you say ulai when you want the thing to happen. Ulai, maybe I'll find, 1,000 shekel on the street. Pen, maybe the stock won't go down. I don't want it to happen. So we have here that Eleazar said to Avraham, Ulai lo sove hoisha lavoimi. Maybe the woman won't agree. In other words, I'll do what you say, and she meets the requirements that you set, but it's up to her. Eventually, it's up to her. She can say, no, I don't want. Then what should I do? So Rashi says there that the way we usually interpret Rashi, the way we were taught in the Cheder, that Ulai is spelled without a Vav. It's Aleph Lamed Yud. So the interpretation was Elai Ksiv. The word can be read as Elai. Well, can I turn to me? Meaning he expresses to Avraham the fact that he has a daughter, and therefore that's why he said Ulai, because he doesn't want her to agree. He wants that she should say, no, I don't want to go. Because then he has a chance to substitute his daughter for her. If he didn't want it to happen, then he would have said pen. So the Gaon says, don't read it as a lie. Turn to me. Just read it straight. Ulai. He said, oh, ulai means I want it to happen. I want that she should say no. But when she says yes, he's powerless. So here you have an example of the subtleties of the language of the Torah. That's why it's called Lashon HaKodesh. It has to be understood on many different levels. So the difference between ulai and pen is not only a difference in what the word is, it's a difference in the attitude that the word brings. And we see that Eleazar, even subconsciously, said, Ulai, maybe she won't want to come. And he's expressing the fact that he didn't want her to come. And that's why Avraham made him take an oath. And that's why Avraham Avinu was concerned that he should fulfill the mission correctly. But it's the power of the oath that gives Avraham Avinu the surety that Eleazar will do as instructed. The Torah doesn't tell us what happens to Eleazar later. It doesn't tell us what his descendants look like, whether they came into the Jewish people or did not. The Torah used this snapshot of Eleazar to teach us these lessons of loyalty, the reality of self-interest, the power of an oath, and the subconscious, almost slip of a tongue that really reveals what a person thinks. Chazal always said that if you want to know about a person, just listen. Just listen. Most people tell you all about themselves if you get them into a 10, 15-minute conversation. And that's what the Torah teaches us regarding the lesson that we learn from Eliezer Eved Avraham. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for coming. Saturday night, we have a lecture at 7:30. You're all invited. Attendance will be taken.